In this video, I'm sharing the productivity system that is the secret to how I get so much done. And when I say productivity system, it isn't just fluff or clickbait. I actually have a real system in place that allows me to 10x my productivity. And you might be wondering what I mean when I say I do so much. Well, I'm a wife, I am a mother of 2 toddlers, I'm a full-time neuropsychologist, I'm a content creator, and a business owner. And I really value doing things well and enjoying my free time. And while yes, it may sound like a lot, the system and tools that I'm going to share with you in this video is going to show you how I get it all done productively without wearing myself into the ground. So if you find yourself tripping over your never-ending to-do list and constantly uttering the words, I wish I had more time, you're in the right place. What if I told you that you could implement a system that could help you say goodbye to the overwhelm and also that mental load that comes with trying to achieve our goals and say hello to a life where you feel in control of your time and your life? So as a neuropsychologist who spent years helping my clients and myself live more productive and organized lives, a lot of this stuff now has become second nature to me. So I spent hours really analyzing and thinking about what exactly helps me get so much done. And I painstakingly packaged it all in a simple and easy to use system that you can begin implementing today for free. So let me introduce you to my productivity framework that I created, which I'm calling Flourish Productivity. So this framework that I created is really about creating a support system to set yourself up for success, and then the productivity is going to really flow naturally. I want to warn those ambitious type A girlies that are watching me to stay with me, because there are tactics and apps and all the strategies and practical tools that I use for productivity. But this first step is going to help us move out of that toxic bro culture productivity and move into more value-driven and intentional productivity. And that's because the system I created includes 6 P's to value-driven productivity to really help you thrive. But the perils of skipping this first step is what I call manic hustling, or sort of that chaotic, unsustainable hustle based on lack, based on overwhelm, and based on really limiting beliefs. If you want to create a sustainable hustle, a sustainable productivity that helps you flourish, start with planting, aka grounding. Starting with grounding is going to help you fight the overwhelm that all too often gets in the way of your productivity. In fact, a survey by the American Psychological Association found that nearly 50% of women say they feel overwhelmed by their responsibilities, which can lead to decreased productivity and difficulty focusing on tasks. So what do I mean by grounding? I want you first and foremost aligning with your higher self. So as we get to value-driven productivity, that means we're not just going to be being busy to be busy. We're going to be working towards our desires and working towards our goals, right? Not just wasting time being busy. And those desires and goals come from our higher spirit, our inner spirit, that comes from that higher place inside of ourselves. So if we're not aligned with our higher selves, if we're not connected to who we truly are, that God inside of us, we'll be chasing goals that really aren't important to us. So it's important to ground yourself and really get aligned with your higher self, your higher spirit. And you can do this through things like prayer, meditation, journaling, mindfulness. These are all ways that you can get grounded and get connected to the true part of yourself and really realize what it is that you want for your life. And this is going to help you come from a place of abundance instead of reactive, stress-driven hustling that leads to burnout, leads to anxiety, and leads to this sense of lack behind the scenes of your productivity. And that leads me to the fact that intentional productivity requires faith. If you want to step into your next sustainable, productive era, it's going to require faith and belief to avoid that manic busyness and that burnout. You have to believe that what is for you is for you. You have to believe that you deserve rest. You have to believe that God is in control and there's no need to try to control the journey. On the other side of that, you also have to believe that if you show up to do the work, God is going to honor your labor with fruit. Could it be that some of you are trying to figure out how you could be doing more when you really need to be figuring out how you could be doing less? So entertain me for just 1 minute and just pause. Stop what you're doing and allow stillness. I know you might be listening to something else, but I really want to challenge you to just take a moment and allow yourself to be calm. So now that you're still, could you notice your breath? Could you notice your body? Maybe notice where you feel any tension. And keep resisting that urge to stop listening to me. And can you take 1 deep, calming breath? And from this place of just being a little bit calmer, a little more grounded, and you open to the fact that you are enough, that this life that you live, the things that you have, family that you probably once prayed for and love very much are more than enough. You truly are enough, and your goals are just really the icing on the cake. And from this place of abundance, can you let go of that squirrel energy? Yeah, you're kind of giving me that squirrel, easily distracted, running around chaotically. And you let go of that squirrel energy and tap into your big cat energy. That energy that is laser focused on what she's after with stealth and intentional movement. It may not be that you're not doing enough. It may be that you're not focused enough. So let's kind of think about how you can tangibly do that. I really like to stress clarifying your values. In my Modern Vision Goal Planner, it takes you through lots of exercises before we move into the goals to do the conscious work, to clarify your values and to connect with your higher self, because I want you to be intentional before you move into being productive. And you don't have to just take it from me. One of the reviews that I just love on the planner that I have is from one of our customers that says, "What can I say? This planner has changed my life in a matter of days. My thoughts or plans are not all over the place. It has really set me in a mindset of accomplishing all God has set me out to do." I'm so grateful. Thank you so much, Dr. Tiffany. So whether you use my planner or not, it's worth doing the conscious work in a laid out way using good strategies. And then here are some things that you can think about prioritizing as you think about grounding techniques for your own productivity journey. I really suggest prioritizing self-care, mindfulness, self-compassion, your season of life, your cycle, and really decide what are the goals for your productivity that you can be intentional about from a grounded place. The next step is going to help you feel in control as you productively work towards achieving your goals. So it's one thing to have goals. It's even better to have an aligned plan to get you there that's actually streamlined and as intentional as possible. So this next step in my productivity system is to plan. And when I'm planning, I like to think about three main things: priorities, intentions, and strategies. So priorities are things like what season of life you're in, what roles do you have in your life right now, prioritizing for that, and also prioritizing for your goals. By the way, if you're new here, I'm Dr. Tiffany Shelton, neuropsychologist and published author. I make videos on how to intentionally get more done so you can enjoy your dream life. So be sure to subscribe and join the family. So whether you use my planner or any other paper planner, it's valuable to plan with pen and paper. So here are three valuable reasons to use a paper planner instead of solely relying on a digital calendar. First off, you're going to have enhanced focus and reduced distractions. Writing in a paper planner allows you to disconnect really from the screens and those digital notifications as you're trying to plan. Number two, creative expression and personalization. There's things that you can do with pen and paper that are just so calming because they're creative. And then number three, why I really suggest using a paper planner is its clearer reflection and goal setting. So a paper planner really encourages a deeper reflection on goals and priorities because you can kind of brainstorm in a free way. Writing things down physically can help you clarify your thoughts and really solidify those intentions. So I really like it to get things out of my head and onto paper. So really I use my paper planner to brainstorm my yearly and quarterly goals, and then also in the day-to-day to plan my months, my weeks, and my days. It's essentially the main tool I use to engage with my productivity system. If you've read the book Getting Things Done, that whole engaging with your systems, that's going to be my paper planner. And then I use my digital planning tools to manage the larger picture. So digitally, I keep my appointments in iCal. I also strategize my monthly priorities and my 12-week year lead goals in Notion because that kind of gives me a bird's eye view of things. And I also have my Notion 12-week year template if you want to use the system I use for planning my 12-week years, which I will link below. And then other miscellaneous planning tools in my system are my meal planning calendar, which we keep on our refrigerator. And I do sometimes implement the Eisenhower matrix when I'm planning if I have a lot of things on my to-do list and I really want to get it down to what's urgent and what's a priority. So Will Smith once said, "I stay ready so I don't have to get ready." And the secret for some of the most productive people is their ability to frequently do things that are going to help their future selves, which is why the next pillar in my productivity system is preparation. So preparing. I highly recommend developing a system of preparation that's going to support your actions. So if you're anything like me, you can probably relate to the fact that that there is definitely a mental load that comes with being ambitious. And one of the things that can truly hinder your productivity is just trying to keep up with all the things in your head. So learning ways to feel prepared for the work you're about to step into with a clear mind is really a crucial step that most people are skipping. And the best way to get started with preparing is to think about what tasks do you do on a repeated basis, and then create systems and processes to help your future self. And here are some of the common things you can use that will help you prepare to be productive. The first one is decluttering, really resetting your space, decluttering on a regular basis in real life, really when you sit down to work in your environments that you want to be productive in, but also digitally clearing the clutter so you don't have chaos to work through before you can actually get into the work that you're doing. So another thing that's going to help you be prepared is organizing for actionability. This means you organize in a way that when you sit down to work on a certain project or a certain task or an area in your life, you have everything in one place so that you can just sit down and go. And I do this sort of organizing by actionability using a system called the PARA method, which is described in the book, The Second Brain. I also have this entire system that I use to organize for actionability in Notion. I have my Second Brain template, which I will link below if you want to check that out. But essentially, whether you're using my Notion Second Brain or whether you do your Second Brain in Trello or Google Drive or you have it in separate systems, organizing for actionability is going to be a game changer. If you're interested in more on how to build that out for yourself, building a second brain, I have an entire video which I will link below for you to watch as well. Another thing that I have learned, especially in running my business, but also as a neuropsychologist, is defining the processes that I use. Even if it's a process that I'm working on by myself, like when I write reports, I have my entire report writing process written down so I can almost go through it as I'm working on a client's report and just check things off, and makes things go much faster. I also have things linked in there like common recommendations, my report template, my clinical interview file is in there as well. So having that process written out is very helpful. I also have processes in my business written out. Like I'm a wife, I'm a mom, I'm all these things. I can't be remembering all these little steps to all these little processes. It saved so much space. Once I learned that that could really help me in my spicy brain of not having to remember everything I do, I started doing that about 6 years and it was really a game changer. Another thing that is so helpful when it comes to being prepared is just having templates. Like I mentioned, I have report templates that help me get into the groove of just sitting down to write the template and plugging in the information that I have for the client. I have YouTube script templates. I have email signatures that I use that have just like template responses to pull. That's also really a great way to stay prepared. If you find yourself writing the same type of email to people or getting asked the same questions, create an email signature for it. Just title it what that common question is, and that way you can on it and go. And then I also have my resetting routines, which goes into the next step a little bit, but it helps me stay prepared because each time that I sit down to reset for a segment I'm moving into, so like my yearly resets or my monthly resets or my weekly reset, those reset routines all involve an element of planning, but also preparing for the segment I'm moving into. So my weekly reset, for instance, includes planning out my week. It also includes a lot of actions that I do to help me get prepared for the next week, like prepping my house, refilling containers, emptying the trash, meal planning, meal prepping, those kinds of things to help me move into the week as well. So now that you have planned the work, it's time to work the plan. You can have the best plan in the world, but if you don't know how to take the aligned action, you're never going to reach your goals. That's why the next tenet in my productivity system is produce. Of course, we have to be productive, and I want to share with you all the tangible productivity hacks and tools that I use to really 10x my productivity. Have your habits and routines that are really going to help you put things on autopilot. So in addition to your templates and everything, systems that you have to get prepared, have systems in the way that you work, have habits in the way that you work that puts things on autopilot as well. Then I also want you to get support. So notice we haven't done anything yet. We've implemented systems, and now you're going to implement support before you think about how you can be doing more. So the support I get in my life that makes my life very easy, a virtual assistant. I also have video editors that help me. I have babysitters on call that help us when we want to go on date nights or just get a couple hours on the weekend to get something done for ourselves. I'm also using a service recently called Poplin. They pick up your laundry. All you do is put your laundry outside. They estimate the cost. They let you know. mail, and then they return it to you all clean and folded. And it has just been so nice to take that off of my to-do list, especially considering all the other things I have to get done. We also have a cleaning service. Our cleaning service only comes once a month, and they help us kind of just do the deeper cleaning that I can't keep up with. And then AI can also support you. Having the right chat GPT prompt can really speed up your workflow. Then I want you to capture everything. So one of the things that really hinders us multi-passionate or neurospicy folks is that we have all these ideas, and that can distract you when you're working. You're working, for me, for instance, I could be working on a report, and I get an idea for a YouTube video, and that might take me in a rabbit hole to make sure I don't lose that idea. Or I'll put it in a notebook, then I can't find where I did with it. Having this capture system, which is a part of my second brain system, I just pull out my phone, I add that task, and then in my weekly review, I process that task so it gets to the right place that it needs to be, and it doesn't get lost, and I don't get distracted when I'm working on in the moment. So capture everything, all those ideas that come to you, all those projects, put it in this system, and that way you don't lose things and you don't actually drop the ball on things as well. Then I want you to manage your time. I want you to use things like time blocking, calendars, digital appointments. You definitely want to be managing your time. I have a couple of videos that you probably find useful that are time management tips that most people don't talk about for you to watch. So I'll link that in the description below, but you really want to be mindful that you're adding buffers in your time blocking, because things always take longer than we expect them to take, and that you're just keeping up with it on a regular basis and going back to check like what's getting in the way if you're not sticking to what you planned for that time. And then the last piece of that productivity is just follow through. You have to be consistent and disciplined to do what you planned, because this is going to allow you to trust yourself. Once you can trust yourself, your productivity is going to be a game changer, because you can look at a plan that you have for yourself to get you towards a goal, and you can trust yourself that you're going to do everything in this plan. Oh my goodness, your productivity is going to skyrocket. That means you're probably a really realistic planner, so you're not overbooking yourself or putting too many things on your plate. That also means that you have the discipline and you have the mindset and the strategies, which this channel is all about, to actually follow through and be consistent with those lead goals that are going to get you to that plan. So follow through is really important. The more you practice it and practice pushing through even when you don't feel like it, of course you're going to be flexible and have certain things in mind, but you're not going to make a habit of not doing what you set out for yourself. And if it does become a habit, you want to come back and ask yourself, am I being realistic about what I can actually get done in it? And then actually the last important piece of the productivity is control the process. You want to have those weekly reviews where you process those tasks that you have in your inbox. You want to do your weekly planning and your weekly scorecard, where you basically look over your goals and see if you're getting it done. This can take you only about 25 minutes. I do have a getting things done weekly review checklist for free that I will link for you below, and also a video. Using that checklist, you can get through your weekly review and control your process in about 20 to 25 minutes. It's going to be really, I think, it's the most important part of your productivity is the weekly review, because then you get a bird's eye view of everything you have going on. You check in with how you're doing with your lead goals, and you process those ideas that you had during the week so they don't fall between the cracks or get lost. So if you don't do anything else, or if you start with one thing you want to really do, it's control the process. Okay, moving on. What's all this productivity for if we aren't enjoying the journey? I had to learn this lesson the hard way and went from a burned out hustler to an intentional go-getter, because I realized the importance of enjoying life now and not waiting for some destination. Not only that, my happiness fuels my productivity, so really it's a win-win, which is why the next pillar in my productivity system is to prosper, to enjoy the journey, stop and smell the roses. I'm going to put up on the screen something for you to screenshot of some ideas as a psychologist that are going to help you enjoy the journey that I usually recommend. And then I want to give you just my 5 must-haves when it comes to enjoying the journey that are going to kind of set you up to do so in the background. So the first 3 are good sleep, good food, and good movement. You want to be getting enough sleep. That's going to set you up for joy and wellness in the background, because that affects our mood so much. So many people have come to me as a neuropsychologist thinking they had ADHD when really they were sleep deprived. And the same thing goes for our mood of anxiety and depression. Make sure you're getting that sleep. That's going to help you enjoy the journey. Good food, particularly a good gut, is going to help you enjoy the journey. There's now so much research that supports how our gut and how our food food, our nutrition impacts our mood and our brain. Good food is definitely on my must-have list. And then good movement, getting that oxygen to your brain. The more oxygen you get to your brain, so cardio, and then things like movements that are going to reduce your stress, like yoga and Pilates and tone you are great too. You definitely got to get in the cardio because that's what gets the oxygen to the brain. And then the last piece is spiritual alignment. So doing those things that help you feel aligned with your highest self is going to help you enjoy the journey. Meditation, church, whatever it is for you, doing those things to help you align your spirit is going to help you enjoy the journey as well. And the last P is proliferate, meaning the art of becoming. So proliferate, aka becoming, it's about the journey, not about the destination. So we're constantly becoming, and you're going to be starting new goals and continuing to grow, evolve, and to multiply along that journey. Once you hit one goal, you're enjoying life, you have those new goals that come into fruition, and the process starts all over again. And I really believe in constantly reinventing yourself, constantly evaluating where you are and where you can continue to grow and multiply, which is why each year I do my life review. I'll probably be sharing mine here on the channel, where I look at my 5-10 year goals that I have for myself, make sure they're still aligned with where I want to go. I think about my current values in my life based on any lessons or challenges. I do this all in my goal planner. You can also do this on your own. So if you don't have the Modern Ambition Goal Planner, what I would take a look at each year is just reevaluating who you are becoming. Maybe do some journaling about that, some thought work about that, think about your values, connect with your higher self, and just take that moment to do the conscious work each year to think about who you are. But you may be wondering, okay, this framework is great, but how do I get started with all of this? I want to end with my quick start step-by-step guide to get you started with my productivity system. So one in this quick start step-by-step guide is to shoot for the moon. You're going to define your larger than life goals, check in with your beliefs, define your values, and clarify your motivation. Then step 2 is to set up your second brain. Again, I have a video on how to do this if you want to create it on your own, and I have a template if you just want a quick start way to get started with it. You're going to set up your dashboard by linking to notes, tasks, and then the para method, projects, areas, resources, archive. Next, you're going to set up your 12-week goals. You're going to plan your quarterly goals, and you're going to redefine the way you think about a year. Instead of 365 days, it's going to turn into 12 weeks. So set up your 12-week year goals. Check out my 12-week year Notion template if you need some help with that. You're going to plan your monthly priorities. You're going to define your monthly strategy and define your lead goals. So you have your 12-week year plan. Then what are you going to do each month to get you to that 12-week year goal, and define specifically what are you going to do each week based on those monthly goals. 5, you're going to create habits and routines. I do have a habits and routines organizer, but essentially if you want to do this for yourself, you define the habits that support what you value in your life, and then you plug those habits into different routines. So you're going to be capturing your habits. You're going to weekly plan out those habits that aren't set in stone yet for yourself. You're going to do your weekly 12-week year scorecard, and then you're going to do your reset routines to get you back on track. That's the yearly, quarterly, monthly, weekly, and daily routine. Daily, you're going to do segment intending. So set an intention for each day. You're going to time block out your days, being sure to include buffers. Also being sure to time block deep work. The 12-week year recommends 3 hours of deep work per week, and then doing the maps that I showed you in that screenshot before, your mindfulness, your appreciation, your pleasure, and your self-care to really enjoy the journey of manifesting these dreams and achieving goals. That is my quick start step-by-step guide. But I will say one thing that might get in the way of you actually applying this system is your ability to stick to what you plan, which is why I teed up a video on that for you to watch next. Thank you guys so much for watching. Cheers to planning, manifesting, and enjoying your dream life. Namaste.